Welcome back to Sportsline, everybody. Don't forget, bottom of the hour, we're going to talk Titans free agency with Turron Davenport, who works for ESPN, covers the Tennessee Titans. It'll be his first time on our show, so we're looking forward to having TD on with us as we talk some Titans football. But first, it was the shot heard around the NFL world last night. The big trade, the New York Giants sending their star wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for safety Jabril Peppers and 2 draft picks, a first and a third. Cleveland is going crazy right now, and that's why we wanted to bring on our good buddy, friend of show from ESPN 850 in Cleveland. The great Emmitt Golden joins us now on the phone. And Emmett, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'll ask you anyway because it's always how you start your show. How was your day, my friend?
Oh, my day was lit. It was it was crazy. I don't know. I probably haven't been on this many radio stations across the country since LeBron came back the first time. It's been a busy, busy day, but it's been fun, man. You know, it's for years, and I'm talking about for years. Honestly, my entire career in broadcasting, the Browns have been bad, and we know how to talk about bad drafts and bad free agent signings. We don't have to worry about that, at least right now. You know, it's all good, and it's been a whole lot of fun the past 24 hours.
I imagine it has. Emmett, it's bittersweet for me because I grew up a Giants fan, still am. I kind of understand why the Giants did what they did, but it's kind of bittersweet. But if he had to go anywhere, I'm glad that he went to Cleveland to play for the Browns. Man, this is shaping up to be an explosive offense with Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry. Now you get Odell, you got Nick Chubb in the backfield, you got Kareem Hunt waiting in the wings. We'll see what the league does with his suspension. You've got Njoku, who I still think is a good young tight end. I mean, this is shaping up to be one of the most potentially now explosive offenses in the NFL. The fans in Cleveland got to be excited.
Oh, no doubt. You know, before the move was made, everyone felt like, you know, the Browns are on the verge of really just kind of jumping out and having a coming out party on the just out to the NFL. And everyone said, you know what, they just need that #1 receiver. And Rashard Perryman was okay last year. It's like, can he be able to be the deep threat? And that's really what fans were hoping for, that they could find a guy that was pretty good, and they felt like that would kind of, you know, put the Browns over the top and really make them legitimate contenders for the AFC North. Well, then you bring in Odell Beckham Jr., who is way better than just an okay receiver. And now people are talking about, you know, Super Bowl chances and stuff like that in Cleveland. It's been amazing.
Yeah, your teammate Aaron Goldhammer was actually looking up flights to Miami for next February on his show this morning with Rizzo, which I thought was kind of interesting. Emmitt Golden from ESPN in Cleveland is our guest. What does this say about John Dorsey, the GM there, and how aggressive he's been? It seems like the timing couldn't be right. You know, the Steelers obviously lost two dynamic players in Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. They're gone. Ben's getting older. You look at what the Ravens have done. They've lost some really good players, although they did get Earl Thomas and Mark Ingram today in free agency. And the Bengals, I don't know what the heck they're doing. I think they're years away from even figuring out what's going on. I mean, was this a matter, in your opinion, of your GM basically just going out and saying, hey, why not now? Let's strike while the iron's hot. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where, you know, John Dorsey liked what the team was looking like, and I believe he had some plans for free agency, but then you had the thing go down with Antonio Bryant. And it's like, wow, so the Steelers don't have Antonio Brown, they don't have Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell. And then, you know, you see the Ravens start to let go of some really great, you know, historically great players for them. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Dorsey, you know, goes like, hey, you know what? We can do this. You know, it's our time, you know, and all we need is a big splash to be made, and that's what he did. He went out there, and I thought it was a pipe dream. I said, there's no way the Giants will trade Odell Beckham Jr. after paying him that signing bonus last year, and after dealing with, you know, they have to deal with, or they are dealing with it now, I guess, a huge cap hit. There's no way. There's just no way. They're going to want way too much. And then when I found out the 17th pick, a third rounder in Jabril Peppers, I'm like, sold. Deal, let's do it. I like Jabril a lot. And listen, Jabril's a really, really good young player. I think he's going to do some good things in the NFL. But for Odell Beckham, yeah, it's like you basically in the 17th pick the draft this year, you drafted OBJ. I'll take it.
Yeah, Emmitt Golden is our guest, afternoon drive co-host at ESPN 850 in Cleveland. One of the really good guys in the business. We're talking about the big trade sending Odell Beckham Jr. To the Cleveland Browns from the New York Giants. All right, E, all this looks great on paper, okay? You've got Odell and Jarvis. I know they're good friends from LSU. You've got Baker, the young up-and-coming quarterback, already considered one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. We mentioned all the weapons they have. A couple of things. Expectations are going to be sky high for this football team going into this year. That's number one. And number two, you're looking at a lot of personalities on that team. We've seen Jarvis Landry, drop a bunch of F-bombs on Hard Knocks. We know, trust me, I'm a Giants fan. I know all about Odell's antics. And Baker's a pretty combustible guy, too. He's not afraid to speak out and say his mind. He's got a lot of swag to him as well. You got a first-year head coach in Freddie Kitchens. What's your confidence level that this guy can kind of mix everything together in a nice little pot and get everybody on the same page and get them playing winning football? You there? You there? Sorry.
Mayfield, because I feel like Baker can relate to everybody, right? He just can. He can relate to the diva wide receiver. He can relate to the offensive lineman. He can just relate to defensive players. So as long as the players trust Baker and Baker has that ability to communicate like he does, if he says, hey, listen, this is what Freddie said we're doing, this is what we're going to do, then I think everybody will follow. Baker Mayfield is a leader. And, I think guys like Odell and Jarvis, they just want opportunities, and they know that Baker is going to do everything he can to give them opportunities. So I don't foresee there being a problem. Listen, problems pop up when you lose. So if the Browns start out 0-5, then yeah, there's going to be some issues. There's going to be a lot of issues. But as long as this team is winning and they're putting good game after good game together, I think everything will be fine. OBJ has a lot to prove. Baker has a lot to prove. High expectations. I think those are just a couple of guys that actually like high expectations, and those will motivate them to perform even better than they had in the past.
You bring up a really good point, Emmett, in that, winning is a cure for a lot of things. And quite frankly, OBJ has had some good years in New York, some productive years, but the Giants haven't won, which has frustrated him and is a big reason why, he didn't want to be there anymore. And I think the more I think about it, I think you're right. If this team gets out of the gates hot, starts to win some football games, I don't think there'll be as many problems as what we saw in New York.
Oh, without a question, and there's no doubt about it. I don't foresee there being any problems as long as this team is producing, and they should. They should. Listen, Eli hasn't been extremely accurate for a while now, and now we were making jokes today that now Odell will be able to use both hands to catch football because they'll be on target, because Baker will put the ball where it's supposed to be. So things should be a little easier for Odell and even Jarvis. Just adding Odell opens up everything. Who you gonna double? You double Odell? Yeah, cool. We'll deal with that and let Landry do his thing, or let Njoku go against a linebacker or a safety. That's a mismatch that he can win. And you better not put 8, 9 in the box, because they're definitely going up top. And if you back off everybody, Nick Chubb is explosive. So there's just so many opportunities that not only Freddie Kitchens but Todd Monken, who the Browns added as an offensive coordinator, who's known as an offensive innovator. You've seen what he did with Tampa Bay last year. Now he has all of these weapons and a solid quarterback, man. There should be some explosive stuff happening this year in Cleveland.
Emmitt Golden is our guest from ESPN Radio 850 in Cleveland, afternoon drive host out there, friend of show. Emmett, you mentioned it. Through most of your broadcasting career and a lot of your life, you're still a young man, but you've been, you're from Cleveland. You've followed the Browns your whole life. They haven't been very good. and now they're on the potential to not only be good, but be scary good, like Super Bowl contender good. Can you put into words what you're feeling as a Cleveland native and a fan, and what the fans are feeling, the anticipation going into this season coming up?
Well, it's excitement, but I think it's more pride. Cleveland is a very proud city.
Sure.
I say it all the time. Cleveland loves Cleveland, right? Cleveland is proud of Cleveland. There's no doubt. Like, how many cities do you know where everybody's wearing a T-shirt about the city that they're in? It's that type of place.
Right.
And this is a football town. Oh my God, this is a football town. I'm talking about everybody here is a football junkie. Friday nights, every high school is jam-packed, whether it's a good high school or a bad high school. It doesn't matter. It's football. There are young men out there representing their school and their cities, their little towns, and it's packed every Friday, every Saturday. Everyone's fired up for the Buckeyes. And Sunday, over the past 2 decades, there's been a letdown on Sundays. Like, oh, man, I hope the Browns win, but we know they really don't have a chance. And now it's like, yes, we finally had it. And, I saw Odell, in the statement that was released by the team, he said, I know that fan base is a great one because I've been to some playoff games at the Q. And I immediately said, look, Odell, that environment was great. Like, trust me, Cleveland fans were awesome, and the Q was rocking during all those finals trips. But it was nothing compared to what it will be like at First Energy Stadium. Because first of all, there's only 20,000 fans at the Q. There's 60 down at First Energy Stadium. And a lot of those Cavs fans weren't really Cavs fans, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Hey, I've got some money and this is the place to be, so let me be there. So it's going to be a whole different breed, and that home field advantage will finally be back. And again, everybody in Cleveland is just proud of the Browns and the fact that, they can talk a little junk, man. That's all, Browns fans ever want to do. Talk a little junk about the football team. They're going to get that chance this year.
Yeah. Does this Browns resurgence, Emmett, kind of take the sting out of LeBron leaving? I don't want to bring up, bad memories or whatever, but maybe the fact that the Browns are potentially going to be pretty good, and the fact that also the fact that LeBron is going to be home for the playoffs with the Lakers this spring and summer?
To put it I'll answer that with just describing something. Baker Mayfield won 7 games last year. Baker Mayfield is bigger than LeBron James in Cleveland. And LeBron James won a title. So that'll tell you everything you need to know. There's so many people that go, listen, I'd trade that Cavs championship for a Browns Super Bowl in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. This is a Browns crazy town. It just really, really is. So, look, it's going to be lit. That's all I can say. Browns play the Titans this year, correct?
That's right, in Cleveland, and I plan on being there, my friend. So I'm
to Cleveland. It'll be something like you've never seen before, because everybody will be. So before, everybody would get trashed, tailgating
in the Muni lot there,
yeah, and then they just kind of go sit on their hands because nothing was happening.
Right.
Now everybody's going to be fired up. They're actually going to pregame for a real game, man. It's going to be wild down at First Energy Stadium.
Well, I'm looking forward to making that trip and finally meeting you guys and hopefully getting a chance to hang out a little bit. Emmett, I appreciate you jumping on. Congratulations. Hey, from the bottom of my heart, Cleveland deserves this. I think the NFL is extremely happy. I think most fans in the NFL are extremely happy that the Browns look like they're turning things around, and it's just good for the league and good for the sports to see a city like Cleveland and a team like the Browns finally get things going.
Hey, we appreciate it, and Cleveland's getting a lot of love right now, but just wait until they win some games. People will not like Browns fans. That's all I'm saying. Trust me, it's all good now, but wait until the Browns win. Nobody will like Browns fans.
You think those New England fans are obnoxious? Wait till you get a hold of Browns fan, winning Browns fan.
Just watch.
Well, good stuff, Emmett. I appreciate it, man. I'm a big fan. I listen to you every day, and continued success, and thanks so much for jumping on tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me. Always appreciate the support. You ever need me, I got you.
My man. Emmitt Golden, the great Emmitt Golden from ESPN in Cleveland, ESPN Radio in Cleveland. As the town celebrates, they get Odell Beckham Jr. And looks like they're building a winner there by the lake in Cleveland. So kudos to them. Again, the Titans play in Cleveland later on this fall, and I'm looking forward to that. All right, when we come back from break, we'll switch gears and talk about the local team, the Tennessee Titans. How are they doing so far in free agency? What perhaps do they have left to do in free agency? And we'll look ahead to the draft. Turron Davenport from the ESPN NFL Nation, who covers the Tennessee Titans, will join us, and your phone calls as well. Stay with us.